Thank you so much for being here. I was born in Iran, and we know that nuclear bomb and issue starts somewhere, and now U.S. government is starting the issue of nuke with the name of Iran. Iran, I don't know if you know where it's located. It is located in the Middle East, right south of Russia, north of Pakistan. Both have nuclear weapons. Also, India, China, and Israel in that region. And if nuclear war starts in Iran, or any kind of war starts in Iran, that would be the end of all of us, the end of world and earth. Right now, Iran was providing oil to China, to India, and to China, India, Syria, and Japan. And those are important need and important countries. And they are not going to just give in like that for them. So I was born a few years after Dr. Mossadegh started working on nationalization of Iranian oil from British. About 140 years ago, Iran had started having oil, and First World War was won on the oil, on Iranian oil, and Second World War was won on Iranian oil. When Mossadegh nationalized oil, I was 13 years old. And US, even though Mossadegh asked United States to be negotiator and come in between and make peace, Eisenhower carried coup d'etat against Dr. Mossadegh. We have carried coup d'etats all over the world since then, hundreds of countries. Americans don't know what coup d'etat means. Coup d'etat means, and on second, third day in Iran, there were trucks that they were filling bodies, dead and alive, of people, women and children, bleeding from their hair and moving, not quite dead, some of them. Trucks carrying tanks, carrying bodies, thousands and hundreds putting in the trucks and moving. Coup d'etat means that, means killing, mass murder of the people of a country who are resisting for their interest. I moved to United States. My brother right then finished his medical school, and he was arrested, and he was about to be executed, and was saved by a friend of us. We moved to United States all while we couldn't live in our country. So I want you to think of all these immigrants and look at their country and look how we carried coup d'etat, made it impossible for them to live in their own country. And they are at the border, and they are separating from children, and from their children, and they are suffering. This is our own doing, repeatedly. Nobody wants to leave their homeland. They want to be in their own neighborhood, with their friends, with their relatives, with their community and culture. Those things, those aggressions, those wars, does that. You know, in last 20 years in Afghanistan, in Iraq, in Syria, in Yemen, in Somalia, in all those in Gaddafi of Libya, and all those countries the United States has done carried war, and in Iran as well. Supposedly, right now, United States is not in direct war with Iran, but the things that they are doing, you need to know about them, what is going on. In Iran, we have about 4 million refugees from Afghanistan because of the US war. We have tons of opium, which United States, when they were in Vietnam, it was plenty of opium right there. Now it is in Afghanistan, and it's flooded Iran with opium. I had to go back in 1978, when my mother died in Iran, when my father died, to take my mother back home. CIA creates CIA SAP in those countries. In Iran, they created SAVAK. SAVAK was dreadful prison torture center, which was created by CIA in Iran, that was torturing Iranians. I was arrested and put in solitary confinement in SAVAK, by SAVAK. And I was there, of course, 2.5 months, but then they felt the movement was going on for revolution, and they felt she's no good, and they got rid of me. But I would see the torture, the people that they would torture when they would pass it through my, I was in solitary confinement. I would hear the leg of those that they were tortured, and somebody was carrying them to their cell. Once in a while I would see it if they would leave that open, which generally they wouldn't. But you could hear the moaning and the way they would carry them to their cell. Tens of them every day. And so many executions. All of these, and I can show you here, this is map of Iran, as you know right now, that supposedly we are not at war. 42 US military bases, or military bases that was created surrounding Iran. So, and they dropped, as you probably heard, in 1988, they dropped Iranian civilian airline with 297 passengers that they killed. And of course, the person who did it got awarded, was awarded for what he did. These are the things that US government is doing around the world with your tax dollars. $6 trillion, $6 trillion alone is gone to Iraq war of your tax dollars. Now, Afghanistan figured it out, and other places as well. Thank you, and I am hoping that we all would work. One side of US is military, and the other one nuclear industry, that what it's doing to all of us. If you pay attention to that, first of all, you can figure out that really, unfortunately, our bread and butter in the United States is killing people around the world, military. That's what it is. And then in Iran, there is, for 10 years during Shah, Iran was the largest purchaser of military industry from United States with Iranian oil and attacking on behalf of United States what Israel now is doing in the Middle East. In a way, Iran was gendarme of the region at that time, attacking Dhofar, which is close to Yemen, and for 16 years destroying the movement of people. You'll see what is going on.
And Iraq too, they were,
Yep.
Iraq was one of their opponents.
And
Here
Afghanistan
we go.
too. They
So I'm
overcame.
going to try to play this. Okay. Here's a map of the world as it was in 1950. And you see the red dots and the green dots? That shows you where we were selling arms in 1950. And then if this runs, we've jumped to 1983.
But it's not moving.
It's not moving. Anyway, here we go.
There we go.
Here we go.
Can you get it back to the 1970s?
Let's just
A little bit to the left. Wait a
Let's
little,
bring
about
Jimmy
there,
Carter back.
about there.
about there. Let's see if we can get it to. Okay.
Shows all of the colors there.
So
Basically, the reason I wanted to show the 1970s, and this ties things together, is the 1970s was the last decade of the Shah in Iran. And during that decade, Iran had the highest importing of U.S. weapons of any country in any decade. And at the end of that time, the Shah was considering developing nuclear weapons. The revolution cut that off. And one of the handouts that we handed out has some references. One reference called Manufactured Crisis by Gareth Porter. I think we've already handed it out. Makes a very good case that, in fact, Iran never, particularly under the mullahs, never, in fact, did have a nuclear weapons program. They were trying to develop nuclear energy, but the U.S. Didn't want them to do that, and just like they're doing with sanctions against Iran now, went to extreme lengths.
now you
Oh,
can
here we
see
go.
the changing year and the amount of stuff moving.
Right. You see
Okay.
that? This is U.S. military sale
Now
around
you
the
see it
world.
coming down to
Right.
South America.
The little thing in purple under 1973 says Iran was the largest country importer of U.S. arms during that decade. But if you're interested in following it up, do read the Gareth Porter Manufactured
So the
Crisis.
purple is going to Iran?
The
Going to various
Media,
places. Saudi
Media
Arabia.
Benjamin. Yes.
And this is Vimeo, and it's the United States of Arms.
Right,
So,
video,
If you
video.
see, this is what you need to write this down on a piece of paper. This is
Or
the,
just copy it.
Or we can Google it and probably find it.
yes, the
Yes.
United
Yeah.
States of Arms, as you see. So here we are, 93, and
It's
it's
a map of the world showing the
industrial companies such as Lockheed Martin and other companies that exist within a few miles of here who are making these weapons and selling them. These are not all nuclear weapons. These are weapons of all kinds,
These are all kinds of weapons.
including fighter planes and things like
And
that.
don't forget, the United States is the largest supplier of weaponry, period.
Yeah,
In the world.
that's what this is trying to, this moving map is trying to show you, that it continues.
Okay, so we're about through here. I did want to make one more
Also, just
point.
letting you know that about the Shah with the nuclear weapons, yes, in the mid-70s, he was personally sending students to MIT, as I was mentioning the other day, double the size of the nuclear engineering department, paid double tuition to get 10 Iranian students every year into MIT, to the nuclear department, yeah.
Yes. But when Khomeini
Yeah.
came to power, he shut it all down. All the nuclear programs, he shut them down. Within 5 years, he decided that nuclear energy program should be started again. But Gareth Porter makes the case that they never did start any nuclear weapons program. And a lot of the points that the U.S. government is making against Iran as far as nuclear research is concerned was because Iran had to go around behind the back of the U.S. because the U.S. was not allowing them to straightforwardly develop any nuclear energy capability. And so that brings us to the JCPOA, Joint Comprehensive Plan of Action, the treaty between Iran and 6 other countries plus I think the European Union. As far as I can tell, Iran was completely in compliance with that. The U.S.'s side of it was to reduce the sanctions, which they did not do, and then of course we know that the present president withdrew from that. So we're very concerned about that.